Hi, and welcome to this episode of the CEO's Chair. With every episode, we try and bring you successful CEOs and founders that have forged their own paths to success and some of their experiences and learnings along the way. This episode, we are very happy to welcome Uma Karve. Uma's been a journalist for over a decade. She's also been the publisher as well as editor of a magazine called Telltale, which relates to pets as well as all pet-related products. And she's currently partner and co-founder of a chain of pet stores in Pune called PetsWorld. Uma, welcome to the CEO's Chair.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Thank you so much. Uma, let's start with how did you meet your co-founders and how did you get involved with PetsWorld?
So it began a long time ago in 2002 when I was working as a journalist with the Indian Express. That's when PetsWorld started their first shop in Pune. It was also the first pet shop, so to say. So I had gone there actually to do a story, and one thing led to another. Oh,
very nice. And Uma, you've been a journalist, yes. You've been a publisher, an editor, and now you're the co-founder as well as partner. Yes. I wouldn't like to call it a startup, but let's say a successful business. What are some of the skills that you think that you've had to hone and inculcate that have made you successful across all of these different areas of your life?
So the basic skill that I know I had to really work on was listening to people. Okay. As a journalist, I was used to asking questions, getting answers and listening. But as somebody who runs a pet business, it's even more important because you're talking about pets who are now like babies. So listening and talking, advising, but you have to tell people things in a way they want to hear, not in the way that you want them to be told. These are the two very, very important skills.
So you'd say active listening skills as well as being a people person or having people skills?
People skills as well, but people skills I think I've always had, so not that much that.
And I'm sure over all of these experiences, Uma, it must not have been easy. I'm sure that there are times when you've struggled personally as well as professionally. Could you give us an experience of maybe a setback or a challenge that you faced and how you overcame it?
So the biggest challenge for me first was to start Telltale, which I did without any big media publishing house backing me up. So it was all my hard-earned money, all my hard-earned efforts at stake, which I did decently, and now we are switching from print to digital format because there is no other way ahead. And we are going to make it only a Facebook magazine now. So that was one big thing because I spent a long time crying over spilt milk, so to say. When I got in, I knew it was publishing, so it's difficult, but I had to do it because it had to be done.
I'm sure.
So that was one big thing. Otherwise, there are no pitfalls as such because you deal with everything on a day-to-day basis, and as long as you're positive, everything moves, nothing stays. Everything moves.
But I'm sure you didn't have this maturity or this acceptance of the world when you were a journalist or when you were a publisher as well. Even on your day-to-day, I'm sure there are experiences that have kind of thrown you off balance. Could you maybe share a few of those with us?
Right now, experiences that throw me off balance are basically people abandoning pets and coming and telling me that, oh, I don't want the dog anymore, do something with it. And that becomes really difficult to deal with because you've had the dog for 3 years, he's used to living with you or she's used to living with you, and suddenly you come and tell me, here, take my dog. What am I supposed to do? Who's going to adopt or buy or whatever an adult dog? If it's a desi, no way. If it's a pedigree, out of question.
Absolutely.
These things always throw me off balance because it's a different side to human psyche which is just not explainable.
That's truly very sad. So how do you deal with somebody like that, or how do you deal with a person like that who maybe even a friend?
Yeah, so first of all, patience is the only thing that you have to have, because if you say mean things, they'll probably go and abandon the animal somewhere, and you don't want that happening.
Correct.
Because that is my first priority. So patience, you talk to them, you tell them I'll look for a home, you play with time, and you hope that they'll change their mind. Otherwise, if the animal is lucky, he or she gets another home. That also happens at times.
And how do you manage the people that work in the various stores and maybe some of their day-to-day challenges that they have?
Not that many challenges there because it's pretty simple. People know what they want to buy. Where it comes to counseling, it's either my partner Sandeep or my other partner Rajesh or I who do the counseling. It begins at the time when people come in, where we have to help them decide whether they actually want a pet or not, because a pet is not a toy. A pet is not a thing that you play with for 5 minutes, for 5 years and give up. It is a lifetime commitment. Also, people's needs are different. So if somebody is not going to be home throughout the day, you're going to turn up only at some 10 o'clock at night and go out again at 9 o'clock in the morning, then they don't need a dog, they need a cat. and they don't need 1 cat, 2 cats are better because everybody is happy then. So things like this, guinea pigs, rabbits, whatever it is, according to the needs of the people, which we have to help identify. Counseling plays a very important part of my job.
Okay. And you had mentioned earlier that obviously active listening as well as being a people's person or improving your people skills is extremely important in whatever you do. Let's say that Uma is just about starting out her career. What advice would you give Uma, or what advice would you give some young entrepreneurs that are looking to do something
to step
on their
into
own?
this world? Pick up some dog and cat related courses like grooming or therapy or training, behavior, pick up courses like that. It helps in dealing with your customers. Whether you want to work on that as a side business is your calling. That is one thing. The second thing is learn a couple of languages, because we see a lot of expats and foreigners coming in and talking to us, and if we speak to them in their language, it's easier to understand and relate and everything else. So pick up these 2 things for sure. And even if you choose not to get into the pet business, these skills will help you any which way.
I'm sure. Well, thank you so much, Uma. You've been a great guest, and I hope that our audience has learned as much from the interaction as I have. So enjoy watching the CEO's Chair, and hope to see you next time soon. Thank you.